Hey, what's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
It's Fred Lenart's the subprime hero.
And we are over here twiddling our thumbs while you see who it is that's bringing you this incredibly encouraging message. And we're twiddling our thumbs really because we're trying to share.
I'm sharing.
Share.
I'm sharing.
Share.
It's all about sharing,
Tag a car
folks.
guy. Tag a car gal.
You
Get
know the
them
deal.
up in here. We have an incredible guest this morning that really knows how to bring the heat and knows how to get things done, folks. Inside of the automotive industry, there are only so many people that get elected for some of the honors that this incredible woman in automotive has. And we're pumped up to show her off and to present this fresh brew to you. Good morning, Fred. Good morning to you.
Good
man.
morning to you. I just
Having
finished sharing, so now I'm ready to click on that. Bam.
Couple more.
I'm excited, folks.
gotta
Now, once again, sharing is caring. Make sure you're out there tagging some car guys, car gals out there to explain we have somebody special in the cafe today. Somebody that has been doing this so long. I shouldn't say that. That doesn't sound right. Somebody's been doing this long enough, I should say, that has a history of just growth in this business. It's enough to where we can sit here and talk about what she's done and be able to explain why this business is great and all the different stages of this business. She's somebody that people look up to. I know I do. I've been following her for a long time. I've been seeing her growth. I've been seeing what she's doing and the people she's connecting with. She's connecting with people that are amazing because it's about who you're around. As a leader, it's about who you surround yourself with, right? You want to put people in places that are just as good as you, if not better. This way that you rise up. Because we don't rise unless other people around us are up at that level. We go to the level of people around us. So if you hire people that are less, you're going to be less. If you hire people that are more, you become more. So remember that. She's an advocate of that. And I absolutely love that she's here this morning. She's a 40 under 40 recipient of the Automotive News. Oh my goodness.
And
are you kidding me? And another one. We've had some amazing people on the show. It's just so cool to be able to sit down and just talk about business and life with folks like this, people who have experience, people who been out there sharing their experiences. Because in order to get an award like that, you have to not just be in your own group, you have to be known. People, the industry has to understand what's going on. So it has to be shared. So she shared that and she shares it openly. And that's why she's here today to share with us her journey, her voyage that she took during this time. So I'm excited to hear it.
I mean, and speaking of sharing, keep sharing, folks.
Yes.
Y'all need to go ahead and hit that share button. But I mean, I just got to break this down real quick. Are you saying that the better beans you brew with, the better the brew is?
Yes, that's exactly. It's as simple as that.
That's what we're saying, folks. It's
brew
the quality of the beans that you brew with, okay? And everybody begins with the potential to be a good bean. And you have to allow yourself the opportunities in life where the heat gets really turned up on you and you get the very best from you so that you can do what it takes to encourage and energize the other people that are around you. She is an example of that. And that's why she is brewing right here on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. So again, thank you so much for being here today. Share this around. Make sure that you get other people to know just how good it's smelling up in here today. It's going to be good. I mean, we are really taking it to church, folks. I mean, it's going there today. So let's get ready to have a great time. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Chris. How are you this morning? So glad that you are joining us today. But man, let's not ado this. Let's put no more ados, no more further.
Let's
ado.
just get this thing going.
Let's just ado this.
Because I'm excited. Let's ado this.
Now. So,
all right,
car guys and car gals, and all you solutionaries inside of the industry, thank you for being up with us this morning and welcoming an incredible guest that is going to come dance and come take this session to a whole other level. So let's brew with the best. Car guys and car gals, welcome our guest, Miss Ashlee Church,
up in the house.
Where she at? There she goes. There she is.
Good morning.
Church,
I love it.
Come on, welcome. You got to go ahead and we can keep the hands moving real quick because she's feeling that vibe.
Oh, I saw
seen
her
backstage.
I saw her
dancing backstage. I love it. I love the energy first thing in the morning. I love it. The quality of the beans you brew with.
Oh wow, yeah. We do coffee correlations quite a bit. You're kind of
right.
we do love our coffee, but it's because we love a caffeinated culture.
That's
and you
right.
bring that to your dealership every single day. It's just about being awake. It's about being ready for the future. A lot of people stay asleep. It's time to be woke, right?
That's
woke
right.
in more than one way, not just
Stay
in,
woke.
not just in the real. Stay woke.
Stay woke.
But it's about being ready for what's coming. You know, people don't have their eyes open. All they're doing is looking here. They're not keeping their head up. When you pick your head up and you're awake and you're caffeinated, you tend to be able to go where you're supposed to go. You have to gaze where you want to go. You have to look at what you want to go to. You can't look down and hope things come to you. And you do that by tenfold. And I appreciate you for being here this morning. I'm so excited to have you here. So let's go.
Let's do this.
I'm
Welcome.
so thankful to be here.
Well, we are pumped up to get this 5-liner rocking, but there are things that we do first and
You know the
foremost.
deal.
It's the first thing we want people to know about us when they consider us, and it's the last thing we want them to remember. We want to make sure that this message is at least inside of their heart and imprinted on them. So we make sure to do the moves together so that everybody knows the dance. When we get back together, we just get back on the floor and we just forgive, focus, and fly together. Okay. So we apply 3 F's. And that's to forgive, focus, and fly. And to achieve the things that you've done, I'm pretty sure that you've already in some way, shape, or form have applied these things to your life. So let's go ahead and do the moves together. Put the hands on the shoulders. And on 3, we're going to wipe off the weight of unforgiveness. We're going to focus on where it is that we're going in our goals. And we're going to stretch out in faith. And we're going to fly and keep growing. On 3, car guys and car gals, forgive, focus, and fly with our friend Ashlee Church. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus.
Fly. And keep growing. Yes. You are now officially a certified solutionary.
There we go.
We're so excited to have you here. She's got her coffee ready to go, folks.
Ready.
What I talk about. She is right online. She is on the same frequency as us, and I'm so excited to be here to share this. Now, we have this 5-liner we love to ask people. And this 5-liner really gets into your story. And the very way we like to start our story with you is your why, your purpose, your drive. Every single day you wake up, you have a reason why you do what you do. What is that reason?
You know, I tell everybody, and I'm 100% believer in that you have to know your why. To me, what we do in this industry is so much more than selling cars and servicing cars, right? That's not what I get excited about when I come to work every day. I know we have a great quality product. I know we have fantastic technicians to, fix your car if it breaks. But at the end of the day, the thing that gets me up in the morning is truly being on a mission to change the stereotype of the car business. And, for a lot of people, when, you say that, or when you put it out there in your marketing, they think it's a marketing tagline. And, that's just something that we say, but they don't really know what that means. So, I'm so excited every day to be able to get up. And I truly do believe that I'm on a mission to change the stereotype of the car business for 2 groups of people, for our customers and for our employees. Because I think that this is an industry that we are losing too many good people. Because we are, we're not flexible enough. We're not recruiting diverse enough staffs and, giving them the flexibility that they need. This is a business where we have to work a lot of hours, right? So we need some flexibility to go along with that. But, from the customer experience, it all starts from the time that they walk in the front door. And, if I have a group of new hires and I get the opportunity to talk to them, I will tell them, if you've ever worked in another dealership before, you're going to find the things that agitate me as a general manager are probably completely different than a lot of other people. You can go out there and damage one of my cars, back into a pole. We're going to fix that. But if someone walks through the front door and we don't give that person an exceptional experience, or they walk in and they can't buy a car because their credit wasn't, as that we needed to be able to, get them financed, we deliver the same level of customer service to each and every customer, no matter their background, no matter how they treat us in that moment. The car buying process is stressful. But what I can tell you is those customers, that try and engage you, or that something doesn't go right in the process. One thing I learned a long time ago when I sold cars, I was the person that got all the complaint customers. If someone called in and complained about something during the process, they got moved over to me. But what I learned from that was that when you take a customer who at some point during the experiences got uncomfortable or pulled back, and you're able to show that person that you truly and genuinely care, those people are the people that become customers for life in the end. And, at the end of the day, this is a really great industry when you work for a group that allows you to do the right thing for customers. And I am a believer in the lifetime value of a customer. And it's not just, because that's the right thing to do, but I also believe that the right thing to do is the profitable thing to do in the end. When you understand the financial statement, you understand dealership operations, and you understand the cost to acquire a customer, I would challenge you to ask why we lose a customer over not doing a $50 paintless dent repair whenever they just took a new car home and came back 2 days later, with a dent in the car. And we try and stand out there and tell them that they probably did it, or someone didn't know, or, something goes wrong with the tire. They must have hit a pothole in the 48 hours since they took it home. And at the end of the day, when you understand your cost to acquire a customer, and you understand the value that referrals brings and the lifetime value of a customer, you make different decisions in the business.
Wow.
So much. I mean, I want to get the.
I want to give her hand claps.
I want to trying to get the head claps going.
I'm going to just here.
Get them in here. Here we go. I mean,
wow.
Wow.
That's probably, and I'm not saying this because you're here live right now, but absolutely one of my favorite answers to that question. That was so just the soul of you. I could tell. You hit that in so many different angles, but it's all relates to one thing. It's do the right thing, right? It's be a human being to other human beings. Treat others like you would treat your family. And when you do that, you will retain customers. When you do that, you will retain employees. When you do that, you will grow exponentially. Your profit margins will start to go up, and with less work. What's so crazy? Because you're just doing the right thing. I love that analogy, talking about somebody coming back a day or two later and there's a dent and you could fix it for $50.
Everybody knows.
And you tell them that, and you give them this bullcrap stuff, and to the point where one sentence will ruin relationships with somebody forever.
Yeah.
To the point, even your salesperson might look at you like, dude, seriously? So, you have to look at like every little thing. And I love how you break it down to cost of, amazing
acquisition of a customer.
And you're on point. I'm gonna let Lou talk, because I know Lou's brain, I can see his mouth going. So go ahead, Lou.
This is the heartbeat that
so right.
Anybody that has a brand that they want to be represented strongly inside of a community, this is what you want of a profession, from the owner to the person dealing directly with the customer, right? On whatever level, whether it's service, cleanup, or sales, or just reception, whatever the case is, you want that heartbeat to be part of the mission of everybody. And the problem that we often have is that not everybody necessarily understands that acquisition of a customer cost, right? So the best thing that we can then do is hype up the value of who it is we're dealing with, and then remind the entire culture of our store to operate with that value in mind, because they don't always necessarily have the understanding of what it costs to get that customer. But they do understand when you say, wait a minute, why did we lose them again? What was the problem? Tell me again, why Mr. Jones, who bought 6 cars from us, why is it that he didn't get the one tire, guys? The one tire? Hold on, let me take a look at that deal real fast. What? Look at the deal. Oh my gosh. Those moments can be completely just gone from your world if everybody takes your heartbeat into the way it is that they approach the value of their customer. And that's the stuff that ultimately we know that leaders like you are starting to pop up, that truly value that person over the profit, that truly value the relationship over the revenue, right? Like that's a variable number of how much it costs for you to acquire that customer, right? That shakes.
Right.
We want to try to get it to be solid, but it shakes a little bit. But the value of that customer is so priceless, because you can get that testimony. You can have that relationship. When their kids do well, will you help their kid get a car? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm getting
no, it's amazing. And I have a customer that I just canceled a vendor meeting with a couple months back. Her name was Eugenia Reed. She was in with a Beetle. She started buying cars from my grandfather when he sold Buicks in Vincennes, Indiana, before he even came to Southern Illinois in the 1970s. And when you look at it like that, and when you look at, the relationships that he was able to build, you're able to truly understand it's not about one car deal. It's not about one service RO. NADA may not agree with me on this. We talk about, a service department's got to charge retail to the sales department. In almost every situation, I agree, except for one. When it comes to handling customer issues, everybody in the dealership participates at cost.
Come on.
There is no reason that the sales managers should be making a decision of whether or not to fix something on a customer's vehicle. And they're like, oh, it's going to be $800. We can't handle that. And then you go back and you find out that it's a $250 part with a couple hours labor. And, we can do that for $250. And I'm a believer that, we can generally always offer a customer something in a situation like that. And we sell warranties. I'm 100% on that page. But at the same time, we can generally offer a customer something in those situations, even if it's, hey, we'll pay for half. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, our costs might actually be half on that. So the customer, pays that, and we don't take any profit on that service RO. And when you start to look at it that way, when your service manager believes the same thing, at the end of the day, I understand it's a sales customer, but service and parts are the departments that benefit off of customer retention more than anyone in the store. And as we know, the statistics are crazy. Anywhere between 70 and 80% of customers are going to return and buy from us again if they stay in our service departments. So it is just so important that everybody in the dealership, there is too much thinking in the car business. Every department is different. We're all different businesses. We all operate on different financial statements. Everybody's paid off of their bottom line. At the end of the day, there's only one thing that I care about in the store, and it's that everybody works together to retain those customers, especially whenever we have an issue.
Hit that. Everybody.
Wow. Clap.
Great show, everybody.
Round of applause.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you.
Wow,
I
Ashlee,
appreciate
seriously.
it.
Mic drop, everything. You know your stuff. And what I love about you is where it all that stuff, all the stats, everything. But what it really boils down to is taking care of the clients and making sure that everybody's on the same page with that.
The right thing is generally the profitable thing. And in this business, we focus too much on today, on this month, and we don't have enough people focusing on a year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now. And when you have that mentality, you will make different decisions today, this month, this week, and you'll be more successful in the future.
Yes,
I love you for this. Seriously, you're amazing.
Fantastic. This is.
Can I come work for you?
Yeah, right. I mean, this is.
Well, I mean, I love recruiting great people to move here to Southern Illinois. So
not that far. I'm still here by Louisville, Kentucky. We're not too far from you. So, but no, but on the serious note, you are running a great ship. You obviously have the mentality of not being a manager, but being a leader. And the leader and manager syndrome, there's two different things. And I love that you're a leader because you're doing it with such class, and you're doing it for your people. You're doing it for your community. You're doing it for legacy too. You said your grandfather?
Yes.
Come on, man. You're talking about legacy here, folks. Right. That is huge. And just understanding that, knowing the value of retaining customers by treating them right, how loyalty is a big deal by treating them loyally, because just as loyal as they could be to you, you have to be to them. Mm-hmm. And I love that. And you have that whole culture going on. Wow, I'm telling you, folks, Volkswagen of Marion is kicking butt right now. They know what's going on, so watch out for them. Seriously, amazing.
I brought a new finance manager in, and again, when you tell people these things in an interview, it always sounds like a marketing message. But it was funny because after about a month on the job, he came to me and he said, I've never had so many customers come into my office and tell me that the reason they're back here buying another vehicle is how they've been treated during their ownership experience with their previous one. And, whenever you do that, good things happen. Customers are happy when they come in to buy a car. We get to have pleasurable experiences and interactions with our customers. We don't have to have that friction in the process because they trust us and they know we're going to do the right thing. And it's just a mutually beneficial relationship instead of one-sided. And when you can create those mutually beneficial relationships, that's when you get customer retention.
I love it. It's what I call a fair deal. A fair deal is when both parties benefit mutually, right? And that's exactly what you're doing. Everyone's benefiting and everybody's growing and they're sharing. I see Anthony Santangelo. He's on here right now. Obviously, he's a huge fan. I love Anthony. He's a great guy. Been on his show myself, and just he's got a great heart, and he's a great trainer out there helping people put people into their stores.
One of our goals is to be going karaoke with.
There's no doubt. I know he comes to Nashville. We've talked on the phone, and Anthony knows when he comes to Nashville again, I want him to call me because I will drive down there to go spend a night, have a drink, and go out and do some karaoke with that man. I absolutely want to give him a big old hug because I see where he's grown and how much he's grown. But we're not here to talk about Anthony, but I do love you, Anthony. Thanks for being here.
But he loves you.
But he does love you, and he talks about you, and he obviously knows who you are. I'm sure you know who he is, right? Third generation auto dealer, follows in her family footsteps of walking the talk, and that's so true, and I love that, but I believe you're building your own legacy right now, a completely Ashlee Church legacy, and that legacy is going to be huge. It already is, and I'm so glad that we're just even part of the journey and get to hear about your journey. So
sitting here, so we're content creators too, right? We're car guys, content creators, all this stuff, but from what it is that you dropped, it's just like magical, great information that you gave us. Thank you so much for being on the show, because this is the stuff that people want, something with essence, something with value, something that's from the actual heart. And that's what makes a good relationship come together, even inside of the synergy of your store or the business that you go. You don't make it 3 generations by accident. You don't make it 3 generations without being intentional about these things. And it's awesome that now we're sitting here with to me, a prodigy of this industry, taking it to the next level. But I want to help answer a question for car guys and car gals all around that might want to know, because this is generational to you, what makes you choose the auto industry to this level? What makes you keep that choice to keep it going? Because I'm sure it wasn't like, this is what you're going to do, kid. You know what I mean? You had to take this on, right? So what made you choose that?
Yeah, so for years, it's funny. And actually, I've been on Anthony's show as well. And I shared this whenever I was on his show. For me, a lot of quote unquote dealer kids, I am a dealer kid now. My mom is our dealer principal. So I'm lucky enough to be one of the few women general manager dealer principal pairs in the country in our dealership. But looking back, it's been a ride, and I didn't always expect to be in this business. So when I grew up working in the business, I started in the accounting office, the service department. No one wanted to do all the filing with the old hard copies. And I don't know who all on this remembers the Reynolds and Reynolds hard copies where you had the sticker flags and, they were all filed in the service department, covered in dust and debris. That's where I started in the dealership. And, as I grew up in the dealership, I never looked at the dealership as what can I take from the dealership. I never expected to be here long term. I always looked at it at, what experience I could gain to hone in my skill set long term for whatever career I chose, because I never saw myself being in the auto industry long term. Our family gives a 10-year service award. So once you've worked for the company for 10 years, you get a plaque. I left at 9 years and 7 months after I finished my MBA. I had always sworn that I would never get a 10-year plaque from my family's company. So I left the industry. I spent 2 years working for a female entrepreneur. While I was there working for her, we were an Inc. 5000 company. So I got to work for a female entrepreneur in a company experiencing amazing growth, winning awards and achievement. And, having that mentality, not about the trophy with the award, right? So, in that organization, I learned that it's okay to have these big goals and achievements. And when you get them, it's not about your ego or the trophy. It's about the difference that you're making in an industry. So as in the employment service agency, we're winning Inc. 5000, all these things. And I got the opportunity to teach for McKendree University. So I had always wanted to do some teaching. It wasn't going to work out with my schedule. So I thought, you know what? I'll go back to the dealership for a while. I'll be able to teach. I'll be able to, work full time there. And then I'll kind of figure out my next step. Do I want to go to law school? Do I want to do this or that? So I came back to the industry. I worked in our Honda store as our marketing director. I started selling cars. I was teaching for McKendree University on the side. And that's the point that we got the opportunity to solicit Volkswagen to come to our area. So we worked for 2 years to get them to open a point in our area. And then, we got the opportunity to present for the point, and then I became the first employee of Volkswagen of Marion. And, I talked to a lot of people across the industry, and not a lot of people have had the opportunity to truly be employee number one. A lot of people get brought in, or they do a dealership buy sell, or they're a general manager, but they move into the store. There's very few people that I talk to that have actually been that employee number one. And to your point before I came on about building a team around you, everything that I focused on from day one has been about building an amazing team around me, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. So that's how I got here. I got here because I was from a car dealer family, but I ended up staying here because of the passion for the business and, getting my store and the opportunity to really do things the way that I want to do them. I don't have to, live and die by a prescribed set of rules that's, 20 or 30 years old on what we can do, what we can't do. I'm really given the autonomy by my owners to run the store the way that I want it. And, it's been a really great ride, and I've really enjoyed it. And all the people that I've met along the way, all the industry connections, and automotive is just an amazing industry, and there's so much opportunity, and it's exciting to be able to get to share that with people.
Oh, wow. I mean, really, real. That's amazing. You, like you said, yeah, people may have automotive in their DNA. They may have family members. They may be the next generation, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it. And that doesn't mean they're going to do it good. There's a lot of people who are next generation that are sloppy about this. They take advantage of it. They're not really pushing forward. To me, I love it. Why I'm so inspired by that story. What really motivates me about your story is that you had options. You could have done a multitude of things, but you chose it, the perfect place for you, an opportunity for you to be able to start kind of like your own business, right? Like being your own entrepreneur. You had mentorship with somebody who did that at Fortune 5,000 company, you or Inc. 5,000 company. You did all these things. You were growing, and you got to learn from people, get inspired. And then you were like, let me go try this. I'm going to educate, which is great. It's amazing that you were an educator too. You're out there teaching, and that's key, because that's what you do every day right now. It's what we do when we sell cars. We're educating people. That's what we do when we train our salespeople. That's what we do when we hire people. We're constantly educating, just trying to help teach them the next level of life, teach them how to become more. You do it so well. I love that you did that, employee number one, and you got to build the team around you. It's funny because I did at the beginning. I brought that up about being able to put people around you that help you grow, and you want to put the right people in the right places because it makes it work really well. And you did that, and you're doing that, and you're still doing that. You told us about your situation with your most recent hire, a year that it took you to find this person, and you did that, and you did it the right way because you knew that you wanted to put the right person in place for that, because if it was the right person, that it will become something beautiful, and it is becoming something beautiful. So thanks for sharing that.
It's an incredible ride, but folks, again, just like we started out, it's the quality of the beans.
It is the quality
of the beans. Okay, you got to get the right beans to get the right brew, and you are definitely a solutionary that's leading the way. We honor women in automotive that are as bold to be the ones that break barriers.
Yes,
the ones that break the molds and don't and go into question mode. The thing that I love, recently speaking with Glenn Lundy, it's question everything. Right? Question it all. It's okay to question, right? And when you start to say, why do we do it this way? Right? I mean, the question that we should have as professionals in the automotive industry is, why don't we treat that customer like the attorney does, right? If I'm your attorney, I'm your attorney. It should be that way for life. If I'm your doctor, I'm your doctor. It should be that way for life, right? And I mean, your lawn service, right? If you have somebody that does great at your lawn, that's your guy, right? You got your barber. All these professions have that. Why do we flip-flop our customers so much? Why don't we value them like they do? And I think it goes back to your point earlier, the understanding the cost of the customer, but also the value in that. But the question of, why don't we look at it like they do? How come we have to keep doing it the way that it's been done? I love that. And I'm sure that, again, the quality of the beans that you've had in your life are a perfect alley-oop for Fred's next question.
He's 100% right, and I love that. And you've come up in this business, you you talked about your grandfather, man, and that's an amazing thing. You talked about your mother being a dealer principal, another amazing woman in automotive, right? Those are hard positions to be in, because like we say, these whole thing about life and business is that in automotive, women are not really what they should be yet. And it's a shame. Us men have held you guys down for way too long. So that's changing, and we're big voice in it. We're going to make sure that changes.
There's
we're
a
going to keep
bomb
moving
going
it.
off over
Big
in
old bomb going off in women in
right
automotive,
now.
because they're amazing. But that being said, we've had people who've influenced us. There's people who've pushed us or shown us the light, maybe helped you make a pivot in life that was amazing, whether they were in automotive industry, whether they weren't. Who would be that person, or who would be those persons that have influenced you to become who you are today?
Gosh, there's so many. I kind of look at it as a puzzle that you put together over time. So it's not one person, because the pieces in the thousands come together from, something that you hear on a Facebook Live or at a conference. And, you mentioned Glenn Lundy. I've just had the pleasure to meet him just briefly in person. But, you take those little pieces, even from people that we don't really know on a personal level, and you're able to put them, together over time. My grandfather is a huge influence on my life. And, even though he'll never sell another vehicle personally and hasn't in years, knowing that customers still come in here and ask me how he's doing and things of that nature has set the tone for the underlying what's most important in the dealership. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we still have to figure out how we pivot from the dealership of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And, he still, thinks that I'm crazy some days whenever you tell him an idea or something like that. So it's about figuring out, okay, well, this piece is really important for my grandfather, but maybe we need to be innovative over here, and maybe we need to think about digital retailing and the future of the business. So you've got to be able to take those pieces from everyone. And to your point about women in automotive, it's just so empowering. And, I went to the Women in Automotive conference a couple of years ago. My husband had really encouraged me that, man, you really need a great group of women. And I went to that conference, and I can truly say that it was life-changing, those connections that I made. And there's so many people that I can't even begin to name them all. But, Amanda Gordon, Carrie Weiss, Lisa Copeland, Melissa Burrows. I got to meet, Lori Foster, Robin Wilson. All kinds of people. Met Bobby Heron at Women in Automotive, and ever since then, the last two and a half years, Bobby and I have partnered on so many different tasks. And she's really been a mentor. She's a person that if I need to send a 911 text to, even if it's at 2:00 in the morning, we'll listen. And so these people and these mentors, it's not so much about them giving you the right answer. It's about you bouncing ideas and then saying, well, have you thought about it from this way? Or I had a similar experience at some point in my past. And have you thought about it through this lens? And through talking through those people, through those things with people who understand the industry, who understand the unique challenges of being a woman in automotive, they're able to just really give guidance that sometimes isn't even telling you what to do. Sometimes it's just lending that listening ear so that you can get to the decision that that you need to make in your gut, but you're just not ready to pull the trigger or implement that new idea with your team. Earlier I mentioned, the company that I worked for whenever I left automotive. I worked for Teresa Katubig, and, she taught me that it's okay to have high expectations of your team. I kind of came from a little bit of a country club atmosphere in automotive, right? Where, you come from a Honda store, right? So you've got an H on the front of the building, and you kind of sell cars by default, right? Because customers are so loyal to the brand. And then you go to an organization where, okay, now I got to go door knock, and people may not know who we are here. And, we've got to go out and get that business. So making that business to consumer to business sale, transition was a big difference for me. Then I would come back to the dealership, and I'm like, these customers are walking on the lot. Whenever I did business to business sales, it might take me 6 months to even figure out who the decision maker was. And then I finally get into their office and find out that there's 4 more decision makers that we've got to get involved. So, just learning, that unique lens. And like I mentioned earlier, Teresa is really the person who taught me, that awards weren't about your personal ego. They were about your team, and they were about the difference that your team was making. And finally, I think that I can just say, not necessarily mentors, but just people who really push me. The people who say that I can't do something are just as, influential on my life as the people who are in my corner telling me that I can do something. When I came back to the industry in 2012, It was the first year that Automotive News came out with their 40 under 40 list. And as you know, I was able to achieve that in 2020, but it was a goal that I set back in 2012, whenever the first list came out. And of those 40, only 3 women were on that list. I read those women's stories over and over again. I looked at their profiles when they were featured in dealer magazines. I saved those articles because there were so few examples. But when I saw that first 40 under 40 article in 2012, it was the first time that I had seen innovation and young people really being highlighted in the automotive industry. And so it became a goal, because I had just left a company that, had received Inc. 5000. So I came, I picked up the Automotive News in my grandfather's office, and I carried it downstairs. And the first person that I ran into was a manager who's no longer with our organization. But he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, this is Automotive News. It's a 40 under 40 list. I'm going to be on this list someday." And he looked at me with his feet kicked up on the desk, and he said, "You do know that awards don't sell cars, right?" And from that moment, that fueled me from 2012 to 2020. I didn't tell another person after I left his office that my goal was to hit 40 under 40. It wasn't until I met Lisa Copeland at Women in Automotive and did a session with her afterwards that I really verbally expressed that goal again, because it got shut down. But it didn't mean that I wasn't still focused on it, and that I wasn't still focused on achieving it. So, I guess, those people who don't believe that, you can do something, or don't see the importance even when you do, fuel me just as much as the people who are in my corner.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to tell you something. You need to have your own show, because you are an amazing speaker. I'm sure you speak. I'm going to tell you something. You definitely have a great heart, and I love how organized you are in your brain when you think about things like that.
And I see, not to interrupt you, but I see Jennifer Briggs is popping on, and yes. I don't know how I forgot her on the list of people that I met at that life-changing Women in Automotive event. But she was also one of the first people that, we met at Internet Battlefield down in Atlanta, the last one that Jim Ziegler did, before his cancer diagnosis. And we were sitting at the bar chatting, and she said, "What's your big goal?" And I said, "It's to get 40 under 40. And she's like, "We're going to figure out how to make that happen for you someday." So, she's another 40 under 40. And it's just amazing to surround yourself with these people who have already been where you want to get to.
Jennifer Briggs, what's going on? I appreciate you. Women in Automotive Group, amazing women. You named all those names. They're all friends of mine. And I'm just excited that you're part of that group, and you understand the power of that group. There's a lot of great men in that group too, and it's pretty an amazing list of people that really just back that company. We are fortunate. We're gonna, I'm gonna announce it real quick. We're gonna be the MCs of the event this December, and we're excited to be there.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be able to go down there and be able to just rise up with women, and just talk about their journey and to be part of that whole culture too. So, I'm excited about that. Women in Automotive, they've even honored us and said, "Hey," because we use the Women in Automotive series, and they were cool with us using it. They're like, "Yep, go ahead, do that. We appreciate you doing what you're doing." And I'm like, oh, my heart just blew up, because I was like, I didn't know how to type. I was like, I don't want to, because Women in Automotive is a term, but it's also a group. So you're like, I don't want them to think I'm trying to steal something from them, right? Sure. So I wanted them to know I'm just trying to help you all. That's all. I shouldn't say help. I'm trying to uplift y'all. I'm not trying to do any help. You guys do plenty of help. But that being said, great group of women that you named off, all of them willing to help. And that's right. And what's cool is that you're the same type of person. I guarantee there's women that are saying this exact same thing about you right now, just like women like Jennifer talking about, "Oh, I can help you," because she knows, they see this. You are a woman in automotive that is influential, somebody that people can look to and say, "Hey, what a story." I'm gonna tell you, you are definitely somebody that I'm inspired by massively. We've only gone through 3 questions, and my heart's just like blown up by your answers. You're just an amazing person. I'm so glad we have you here today, man. I mean, great stuff.
This is fun to again see a full correlation, a full all around roasted perfect being here, where she has the culture, she has the origins, and she also has the complimenting. Not complimenting as in like, "Hey, you're doing a good job," but compliment is in we complete, right? We bring this together. This right here is a natural origin blend. A whole bunch of other beans are brought in here, but the new blend that's actually coming out that is a bunch of other beans that are
right now?
I'm spilling a little beans, right? there is coming together, and it's a blend of the best beans from their batches. Because the more heat gets turned on to a dark roast, I'm going to give you guys a coffee lesson real quick. The more heat that gets turned on to a dark roast, the chances of it getting burnt out are there, and then the taste gets messed up. When the heat gets applied to us as people, it's up to us and how it is that we receive that, and we allow it to bring something good to us or something bitter from us. And when we actually then get the chance to get plucked and brought together, you're pulling people, you're recruiting the best of the best, right? People that have some of the same stripes on their shoulders like you, right? Some 40 under 40 marks, right? And all these same things. These are great glory moments. These are great times that you're sipping on what's going on. You see where you're going. You enjoy all that. But every now and then, folks, I don't know if you have or not, I've made a bad cup of coffee, right? I brewed it. It sucked, but it's right there. I didn't get to it in time, but I already made the coffee. I hate to waste. So I'll drink the lukewarm coffee, or I'll drink the whack brew of it. And sometimes there's just a bad cup. In your life, you've probably taken a lot of big hits. Everybody can hear the victories, see how strong you've come through to doing what it is that you do. And we honor that and we celebrate it. But a lot of people can also relate with some of the breaks, right? These are the breaks, right? And so, Ashlee, what has been the hardest lesson you've had to learn on this journey? Or what has been maybe just the worst cup you've had brewed so far?
Whew. We opened our Volkswagen store as a new open point in 2014. And, if anything, I would say the biggest lesson that I've had to learn, not even just the hardest, just the biggest lesson that I've had to learn, is the resiliency that it takes to be successful in this industry. And we are we're an industry that's full of all of these external factors, right? And, most of us in the car business have a very internal locus of control. We believe that if our stores are successful, it's because our team did a great job. If our stores aren't successful, it's because we failed our team. And, we opened as Volkswagen, our open point in 2014 in a temporary location. It was a renovated DHL shipping company. If you don't know what DHL is, it's kind of like UPS or FedEx. It was at our local airport. We had no frontage road. We hit our annual planning volume out of that store for our white frame store. We ended up moving to our white frame store in 2014, $4.5 million, beautiful, brand new state-of-the-art facility. We opened our doors in March. We had our official ribbon cutting in April. Wow. And in September, I was on my first vacation since we had opened the store back in 2014. And I opened an email to find out that, as we call it in the Volkswagen world, the TDI crisis or Diesel Gate or whatever you want to call it. But we lost 47% of our new car sales overnight. Similar percentages on CPO units as well. And that was a really, really difficult time, being a new brand in a new market with all this excitement. We've had so much success. Now we're on, Good Morning America. You've got, your brand's logo with the smoke coming up in the background. Yeah. And, that was a really bad, a really dark time for us. Losing 47% of our sales overnight, and national TDI penetration average was somewhere between 20 and 25%. So we were a store in a rural market. We went after Volkswagen specifically because of the TDI and knowing that it would go over so well in our market. And so that was a really difficult thing to come back from. But, we had to pivot. We had to do things that were different. We had to pay our staff differently. We had to think about, retention through the situation. We had to transition to a used car strategy overnight. So those things, while they were things that were really difficult to deal with at the time, have really thickened that skin and of my staff. And I can tell you, I thought once we got through TDI that we would be through the worst of it. And, then things continue to happen, right? So I thought once we got through TDI, life was just going to be great. Well, then we came through TDI. Then we went through TDI remarketing, where we were so successful while Volkswagen was selling those several 100,000 TDIs. We had an unlimited buying supply. We could go on. I could buy 30 cars. I could have them shipped in. Our service department was doing phenomenally with all the warranty repairs. Yep. We were selling 20 to 30 of them a month. And then TDI remarketing went away. And then we had to make another shift and another pivot. And then we had to figure out where we're going to acquire used cars from. So we were ahead of the game when it came to the chip shortage, because we've been working on used car acquisition strategy, for over 2 to 2.5 years in the store, coming out of the TDI situation. So, those things, while they're difficult at the time that you go through them, every time something happens in our store, or there's an environmental factor that we're going to have to face, I tell my team, we've been through it. We've been through worse than this. We've overcome. We've pivoted. I love the analogy that I saw posted on your Facebook page. I think it was yesterday, Fred, about, being water. And you have to be able to flow, right? So, okay, hey, we were doing really great selling TDIs or new cars, but now today it's different. So we've got to flow over here because we still have to make ends meet. We still have huge expenses. We've got facilities. We've got people that are counting on us to support their family. And to be able to walk in and to have that confidence to say, I know that we're going to make it through any situation because what we've been able to overcome. And, when we went home we got a showroom closure during COVID. My entire team went home and we morphed into our sales reps, became our BDCs, and they had laptops and they responded to internet leads from home, and we scheduled appointments. And we had a pretty decent month even during COVID. But whenever your team has that adaptability from being down at the bottom and having to fight your way back, I truly believe that it makes all of us stronger in the end. And that's going to make us be able to enjoy the good times even more whenever we're able to get to those.
Oh, I love it.
I gotta give it more hand claps.
More hand clap. I've never hand clapped so much in a show in my life.
Hands
I'm
together.
telling you,
If you're not driving, put your hands together. If you are driving, smack that leg.
For real.
Serious.
Wow, actually, seriously, as you were telling that story, that journey about 2014 and going through all that, and then the TDI crisis and having to get into figuring out how to sell used cars and be able to, I knew that it was going to turn around to where when this crisis just happened, the chip shortage, that you were ready for it. Mm-hmm. And that is what is amazing about lessons learned. A lot of times when we have something bad happen to us, we're like, why is this happening to us? It's that reason alone. It helped you strengthen up, helped you become adaptable, helped you thicken your skin. Like you said, these are words that came out of your mouth. They helped you thicken your skin and be ready for this current crisis, which turned out to be not a crisis because, once again, you already had processes implemented. Your team's skin was thick enough to go through it and understood it. They took and they became adaptable. It's so crazy because we have 5 core values in the solutionary core values, and you pretty much touched every single one of those in that whole situation. And it's like check.
This one.
Yeah, love. You start with love, faith. Of course, you got to have faith. You got to have honor in it. You got to be adaptable. And then, of course, it's got to be consistent. And you've been doing it for a long time. So you're a certified solutionary, my friend. And your team is too. And your dealership is doing that. And that is what it's about. It's lessons learned are not supposed to be something that we go, oh, boo-hoo. Lesson learned should be something exciting. When something bad happens, when something abnormal happens, I should say. When something abnormal happens to you in your life, use that as a way to learn so that you can be ready and adaptable for the next situation that comes up and be prepared for that and have your mindset on being adaptable. I love that. Ashlee, you are a true solutionary, and you're somebody that I absolutely am excited that we get to know a little bit more today. And I can't wait to learn more as the years go by too.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be running into each other some more now that
Guarantee
you're
it.
definitely flying with the crew, right? There's going to be a lot of follow-up and a lot that we want to make sure that we keep brewing with you. Again, folks, once you taste coffee that marks you, you always want it again. I don't care if you get one cup of it, you'll always remember that cafe. Everybody's going to remember the day that they were sipping solutions with Ashlee Church on the Car Guy Coffee podcast.
Amen.
I know I am. I'm going to be like, well, we need to get some more of that, Ashlee.
I feel like I'm in church right now, if that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. I told you we were taking it to church.
I'm just feeling the vibe here, I can't believe we haven't had a longer conversation already.
Seriously.
Because
I know.
You are like so like my. I mean, if we could put a third person as our co-host, I'd put you right here. That's how amazing you are. So, wow. So we've talked about some amazing things today. We've talked about your why, and man, what a great answer to that. You had 2 answers for that, and I absolutely love how you broke it down and explained it too. I've had some answers where it's like my family. And there was your answer, right? So I love that you're able to explain these things and you're able to talk about it and explain why, because that's what the audience wants to hear. Second thing, we also talked about how you got in this business, why you decided to stay in this business, right? Because a lot of people might decide to go do other things, though you did. You actually had ideas to do other things, but yet this business pulled to you, it called to you. But you also realized all the lessons that you learned in the past, all the people that have been with you coming up to that point was preparing you for the day that you were going to be the first employee, the number one employee of a dealership, right? That was going to be brand new in your town. Then we talked about people who've influenced you. And you talked about not just the people, but the idea of people telling you can't. I love that. Someone says, you can't do that. Just not, it's impossible. Okay. Let me show you what I can do. I am Ashlee. Hello. I will work hard and I'll make sure I get to that level. And then we talked about hardest lessons. The last thing that I want to ask you today is, what has been your greatest reward up to this point? What has really been that thing that makes you go, I'm so glad I did this?
That's a tough one because it's so multifaceted. And I would say kind of two pieces to that. Number one, from the industry perspective of knowing that I am part of moving an industry forward. And just as much as you guys are, and this podcast is, and, the great conferences that we have, the Glenn Lundys of the world, the Women in Automotive, all these great organizations, there truly is a group of people inside automotive that is really pushing this industry forward, pushing the boundaries, and we are pushing the dealerships who don't want to do things the right way to do things the right way. So I truly believe that we're making an impact. And to me, that's so satisfying and so gratifying, because as I started off by saying at the beginning, to me, this is so much more than selling and servicing cars, which is what we do inside the box that we're in every day. So to know that there's a greater impact, there's really no greater feeling than that on the big level. When it comes to the store, the best part of the store is truly seeing employees get to meet their goals and be successful in their roles, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally. Whenever you get to see an employee, come to you to double, to triple, to quadruple their income, to be able to buy a house whenever they never saw that possible. They were renting whenever they started with you. Maybe they were behind a couple of rent payments. And then all of a sudden you get to be a part of them coming to you for advice and saying, I've never bought my first house. I'm scared, but do you know a lender, or do you even think that this is possible for me? Or to be able to sit down with an employee in that same example and say that they want to make a goal to buy a house someday. And what are the steps that it's going to take to get there? What kind of income are you going to have? Okay, well, you're in this role right now. What does a map look like to where we can get you to be able to achieve your goals? And it's the little things, it's the employee who's went to the laundromat and that's all that they've ever known. And they get to buy their first washer and dryer, and you get to celebrate that win with them. Or they get to buy their first new piece of furniture that they haven't bought on Craigslist. You get to see them win awards, get training, you see them advance in things within the industry, within your brand, and you really see the group of people that are growing around you. To me, that's the most satisfying thing that I get to see on the day-to-day inside the store.
That is fire.
And there's some more hand claps for Ashlee Church. I'm gonna tell you, seriously, goosebumps.
Wow.
Goosebumps from this interview is what I got, and I don't think I've ever said that on the show. I literally have goosebumps. I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your heart more than anything. And I think that's why you're such a great leader, is because you lead with your heart, with love. And if you lead with love, everything will fall into place when you're truly trying to do the right thing. And what you do and what you're saying is so true. We get to see people literally change their lives, whether it's your employee, the customer, it's all of it. It's everything. And when you see that and you truly believe in that, man, does your heart blow up and does it explode? I see there's a Nate Church. Is that your husband?
That is. Hi, Nate. I didn't know that you were on.
Smart man for marrying this woman, Nate. Just so you know, very smart man. You got a great one here.
He's the glue that keeps Ashlee Church together. Like I said earlier, he really encouraged me to branch out, to go to Women in Automotive. Like I said, that conference was life-changing. And he didn't know what Women in Automotive was, but he always said, you need like this group of women, and there's got to be something out there like that. So that kind of set me out on the quest to find that group of people. And to be able to, this isn't an industry that's easy, right? We work a lot of hours, we go home, and there's a lot of focus in our off time on the business too. So it's important that we have those people that are around us that are supportive too.
No doubt about it.
Celebrate that, folks. It's important that we value the relationships that we have with people, with our community, and with our business, and that we blend it all properly. This is so encouraging. And guys, gals, remember the flow of this show. For those of you that have watched the show, you understand that we want to be able to take the best of the best and put it forward for you all. Take the positive of it, but also pay attention to where the pains are inside of our life, and recognize and realize that both are going to be inevitable. You're going to experience pain, especially if you're in a pursuit for growth. You're going to experience it, right? Doing the 75 hard, there's a good bit of pain that he's had to deal with, right?
No doubt.
Mentally, right?
No doubt.
What's the tag? It's the battle, winning the battle of the mind, right? That is a battle. If you're trying to conquer things, you're going to run into the bad, and you're also going to be encouraged and fueled by the good and the benefits that come from it. And you've seen it all. You were prepared through it all, and you're a living example. Again, folks, we're taking it to church. She took it to church today, and shows that all things work together for your good. Your good, car guy, car gal. I don't care if you just had the worst month that you've ever had. October's tomorrow. It's time to start again.
That's right.
I don't care what it is that you feel like you messed up or you didn't do, or you feel like somebody else did do to you. Wipe that junk off your shoulders. Be inspired and sip on the solutions that this solutionary has been bringing to you all. She's doing incredible things. We honor that you've brought such an incredible, joy-filled story. And that's the thing that I want to make sure is key to everybody. There's something, once you take the sip of that coffee, you're like, and that smile on your face. You're excited about it, right? And you're excited to take on the day. And we're excited to share the story with
I tell you,
everybody.
I absolutely love today's story. I love you being here today. It was so amazing. I honestly, I feel so energized. I cannot wait to go out and talk about the story some more. I know that there's going to be people who are going to ask us about you, and they're going to, have questions. And I'm so excited that I can answer them because I know Ashlee now, right? And what's so crazy is that I honestly, I want to come to your showroom just because I want to feel the energy of that showroom. We're going to make a visit there just because
Let's do it. You're not too far away. You're just a state away. And, I'll just wrap up with this. It's one thing whenever you see customers leave great reviews and they say great experience, this, that, and the other. It's another thing whenever you're not in the store for a day and a customer comes back the next day just because they want to tell you how amazing your team was. Or what happened to me on Tuesday, the last day I worked, I was off yesterday, and a customer walked out of finance and he said, you know what? I feel it in my bones whenever I walk in here. You have all the right people in the right places. My sales person was phenomenal. The sales manager who came out and chatted with me was great. The person that you have working in finance was great. And I knew from the moment that I walked in your showroom, I could feel it. And whenever customers express that emotion to you and they tell you that they can feel your culture, that's when you know that you're doing something right.
Yes.
Oh, you got to love that. I feel your culture, and I've never walked in your store. I've never bought a car, but I feel it through you. There's something about a leader like you. There's something about people like you that I just want to soak up some of your energy, because I know that I'm going to gain something from I gained so much today from this interview. Man, my wife, I can't wait to go up there and love on her. She literally is my Nate, right? And she's been that person, just like his wife Tiffany is his Nate also. And we all have that support system, and it's beautiful. Oh, we are kinfolk, and I'm so glad that we become friends, and I'm so glad that we got to share your story with our audience today. I know my audience really appreciated it. Brian Ortega says, great episode. Yes. Brian, I appreciate that. And what made this episode so great was you, Ashlee. You brought the fire today. You brought love and passion and all those things that we want to see on this show, and we thank you. We thank you for being that type of person in this industry. We thank you for being somebody who's a leader that really cares about their people and their clients, not just one or the other, but both. Because a lot of times some people just care about their client and they don't care about their people. So whatever it takes, you got to do both. You have to make sure everyone's taken care of. That is called legacy. That is called growth. That is called being a leader. So thank you for being a leader, Ashlee. Thank you for being a certified solutionary.
And we got to make sure that all of you car guys and car gals know, and I believe that you already do. So join us in congratulating our friend Ashlee Church on being
100% CGC approved.
Congratulations. I know you got 40 under 40, but now you're CGC.
This is bigger deal. Seriously.
I need to add it to my profile.
Yeah. Yeah, man, look at that. It would look really good next to that 40 under 40 right there in the background.
Yeah,
so,
let's do
that
it.
being said, no, we appreciate you so much. And congratulations on all the accolades, but congratulations on your future ones, because there's many more coming to you. I know it. Just keep working hard the way you have been and put the love in. And we know you're going to be a bright, shining star. And we can't wait to talk to you again.
And feel free to use us for as many exclusives that you have going on inside of your area and the things that you're doing. Let us know. We want to highlight it because people need to see and hear it. I know that you've encouraged so many. For those of you that are seeing this on the replay and those that are watching it right now, drop a message in there. Just let her know how encouraged you were by this. Give her a coffee cup emoji and share this around. Man, what an incredible solutionary type of inspiring day. We've had some great people that have inspired her have been inside of this room. People that she's inspired have been inside of this room. And we had the chance to have Ashlee Church inside of the cafe today. This is history in the making, and we're still making it. We're going to be watching you, and right there, hopefully being able to hand you a microphone to tell this story to as many people as possible. Ashlee, thank you so much for your time this morning. Please, please, please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help caffeinate your culture even more. We got as much of this brew for you as we can, but you've made our level of quality of beans we brew with go like level 10 immediately today. We went to another level. I am so thankful for that. You 10x'd us, and I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a great way to kick off the morning, and ready to go wrap up the month, and everybody have a strong month close, and then let's get October rolling.
That's right.
That's right. Get it rolling like that, or get it rolling like this. Car guys and car gals, we are getting ready to go on and enjoy this day. We have had the great privilege of being with our friend Ashlee Church, and we want to make sure that you encourage others to do the same. So go to carguycoffee.com, share this around, listen to the brew that's in there. I believe both brews of Janelle Delgado are in there. If you want to talk about people that'll fire you up, if you want more inside of your cup after drinking with Ashlee today, go get some of that in the cafe.
Yes.
I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we have been brewing solutions with another quality bean in the business, folks. The one, the only,
Ashlee Church. Woo!
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you later. Ashlee, wait for us in the back. And we will keep dancing, keep moving, keep grooving, doing what you're doing. Car guys, car gals, thank you for joining us for Car Guy Coffee Podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.